Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and as you can probably tell, the Autobot clones of Fastlane, or Fastclash if you will, and Cloudraker are really excited. I mean, they're giving each other a high five. Of course, then we have poor Wingspan, off by himself and lonely. Stick around, we're going to take a look at the Transformers Titans Return Clones 2-pack in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. Spend some time on the channel. Hey, check out Universal Collision. I just put up a synopsis of Season 1, and Season 1 is completely done. It's also a bit of an epilogue and kind of sets up what's to come in Season 2. Check out me everywhere. So, this is what we have, sort of. I'm going to take all of this out of it for the moment, and let's get a couple of things out of the way first. In this pack, we have a lovely box. If I can just back this up a bit. We have a lovely box, and it has what's described down here as a fantasy scene on it. It's a picture of Wingspan and Cloudraker, and that's pretty much it. On the back, my box is a little bit dinged up. On the back, we have their bios, which really all it says is, hey, is a Decepticon clone with Pounce and is a Decepticon clone with Fastclash. And that's about it, really. It's too bad that the box got dinged up. I got this from TF Source. Bit of a shame about the box, but luckily I'm not a big box guy, so I don't particularly care. We also get instructions, and I'm actually going to come back in a little bit here on these. We get instructions, and I think it's kind of brilliant the way it was done. If you open them out, what we have is everything for Fastclash, or sorry, for Cloudraker on one side, and everything for Wingspan on the other side. I think that's really cool, to be honest with you. I kind of really dig that. What's interesting though is that I only see really a place described to put a Titan Master. Oh wait, no, there's a place for Titan Masters on both of them. My mistake. We have two of the ever popular, yes that's right, a 2-for-1 of the ever popular collector cards. There is Wingspan's. I love the artwork. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. And on the back, this is what we have for the tech specs. Definitely a high intelligence. I'm not really surprised. I think that that's pretty accurate, to be honest with you. And we have Cloudraker's collector card. Again, it's nice artwork. It's what's on the box. You know, it looks fine. And tech specs again. This time, the speed is the highest one. I sort of thought the intelligence might be a little bit higher than what it is, but whatever. Beggars cannot be choosers. We're going to start off looking at this guy first. And this is Wingspan. Let me actually stand Wingspan up a little bit more here. Let me just bring this in a little bit more here so that we can focus on him. I really dig this guy. I would give the paint apps definitely a solid 9. They're really good. It's no mistaking who it is. So what is, I guess, inaccurate? That's the real question. Well, this guy has a face that's unpainted. It probably should have been a little bit of a gray or silver color. I think that's extremely minor. And really, besides that, that's about it. You know what? I said 9. I think I'm going to revamp that. I'm going to give it a 9.75. And I'm only doing that because I'm being picky about the fact that the face is left white. If you're not picky about that, this guy's a 10. Let's go into posability, playability. Oh, by the way, I will note this because there was all this debate about the clones being their own size class. It actually says on the box that these guys are Legends class. So I guess that kind of confirms it. Posability. So we have arms that can go all the way around, can go way out. We have a little over 90-degree elbow bend. It's on a ball joint, so you get a swivel anyway, but there's actually a dedicated like mushroom peg swivel up in the arm. It's kind of weird. I don't really know why. I assume it probably has something to do with the engineering on Pounce. I guess technically you get a butterfly forward because of a transformation hinge. The head can go left and right, no up or down, nothing at the waist, nothing at the fists either. Legs can go forward that far, can go back that far because of this tail piece here, these tail feathers. We have 90 degrees at the knee, solid 90 degrees at the knee, thigh swivel, nothing at the toe. So we kind of have your standard Legends class articulation, but it's effective. It does really everything you want it to. It'd be nice if there was a waist, maybe. You know, you could complain about ankle tilts, or it'd be lovely if it had a wrist swivel, for example. But again, I'm going to give it a strong 9.5. It's very effective. The joints feel tight and good. So we have a 9.5 and a 9.75. That's a great score so far. We're going to go now into the transformation. So what do we have to do? Well, first you kind of pull out the, I guess it'll be the bird feet on the back of his arms. Pull those out, put the arms down straight, and you're going to bring them out on this hinge to the front of the body, which will end up being the bottom of the bird. You'll notice that the feet are not pointing down yet. Well, you just rotate and rotate. And maybe that's exactly why it has the dedicated swivel in there, just in case you forget to do that. I'm going to turn the head around. It doesn't, I don't believe it says to do it in the instructions, but I'm going to turn the head around and then I'm going to lift up the bird head that was on his back. By the way, this tail piece can move a little bit. It can't come up all the way. It can only come up that far, but it does move. Okay, so next, and I want to make sure that I explain this well before I actually do it. There's a little peg right here and a little rectangular peg right here. I hope that that's visible. I know that this is small. They're going to be what the legs peg onto. So we take the legs and we open them out to the side. We take the wing sections and fold it out, and the other wing section and fold it out. Fantastic. We turn the leg so that the wing section is, you know, toward the top of the bird, basically. So the hips are joined down underneath here. We split them and bring them out to the side, and we bend the knee 90 degrees. There's a little gap in there. So you bring it up, you peg it on, which is difficult to it's not that it's difficult to do, it's just it's difficult to do when you're trying to do it from a little bit of a distance here on camera. And that's it. Boom. There you go. You have Pounce, or sorry, Wingspan in his bird mode. I think it's pretty convincing. It's a big wingspan for a Legends figure. I love the pink that's used for the feathers. In this mode, the tail fins can move. These little, I guess, feet sections can move, largely because it's on the arms, so you still kind of have the mobility of the arms. And the wings actually have a hinge on them. Because of where they bend up, they actually have a hinge on them, so I guess the wings can sort of flap, which I think is pretty cool. I don't have Pounce, unfortunately, to compare him with, because he only comes in the Siege on Cybertron box set, and that's really only available online, and unless you want to pay exchange rates and shipping and probably customs, he's really only available in the United States. I think that's absolutely despicable and shameful. These should have been regular retail release. It should have been a wave of legends. I don't know how I'm going to get Pounce, or if I'm going to get Pounce, but I really feel compelled to somehow, some way find him. Really disappointing the way that distribution was done. But this guy is great. To put him back in robot mode is easy. You just fold the wings up, bring the legs down, bring the hips all the way down to the bottom, turn the legs around so that the feet face forward, arms out to the side, push those bird feet in, flip the bird head onto his back, and turn his head around. It's easy, but it's interesting and involved for the size class that we have, especially since this is really technically the same mold that's used for the Autobot clones. It's amazing how the same parts can really be moved in so many different ways. I'm going to give his transformation, because I think it's so involved and interesting. I'm giving it, for what it is, for a legend, I'm giving it a 10. This guy's a great little figure. He pops, the color looks great, the dark and the light looks fantastic. Overall, he's easily a 9.75. He is a legend that is really worth having if you can get your hands on him. From what I understand, he's going to be an exclusive in the US. I don't know what international distribution will be like, but if past similar exclusives such as, I don't know, Brainstorm is any indication, this guy will be a little bit of a challenge to get your hands on. Certainly not, probably not going to find him in stores. The other half of that set is this guy, Cloudraker. Now Cloudraker, just to show how close the twins actually are, Cloudraker is right here with Fastclash, or Fastlane, if you will. They are your typical Legends size. I looked at Fastclash back in episode 275 when I looked at the entire Chaos and Velocitron box set. He's toward the end. He was the last figure that I looked at, if you kind of want to check that out. I gave his paint an overall score of 10. I also give Cloudraker's an overall score of 10. Their paint is absolutely perfect, right down to the eyes being blue. The articulation was a 9 for Fastclash. Because this guy doesn't have the same limit, you know, like Fastclash has a limit here on his head. When you go to move his head, you have this whole piece that's attached to it. I think that that's a real shame. And that's what limited him to a 9. All of his joints are solid, tight. This guy does have a fin on the back of his head, but it's not nearly as obtrusive. I mean, his head can go back and forth. Exact same articulation as the other guys, being Fastclash and Wingspan. You know, arms out to the side. We have a bicep swivel. Now, I don't think that these guys have the dedicated bicep swivel like Wingspan does. No, that's one solid piece. We still have a little over 90 degrees at the elbow. This guy does have, just like Fastclash has, wrist articulation because of transformation. The wrists move in. Again, nothing at the waist. We have the butterfly joined forward, you know, so he can go and do that muscle pose. The arms can go around 360, of course. The legs forward, very far, really way back, assuming you get the nose of the plane section out of the way just a little bit. Splits for days. I don't think I showed this with Wingspan. Splits for days, and you would think that the two pieces down here in the pelvis would split apart. They really don't. It's a nice solid connection on him, on Fastclash, and on Wingspan. It was really well done. Thigh swivel, 90 degrees at the knee, and the toes tilt if you move the wing pieces. Now, these guys are really similar. They totally succeeded in going for what they wanted to go for. Just looking at them in robot mode, the real only difference is spoiler and fin. If we look at them from the side, well, one has tires on his lower leg, the other has wings wrapped around, but it is black to match the black of the tires. If we look at the back, of course that's different. We have a spoiler and tires here on the back of Fastclash, and we just have you know, the say nose cone flip back for Cloudraker. What's nice is Cloudraker doesn't have really the gaps in the back of his legs because of the way that the wings fold around, so I think that's cool. Other side would be the exact same thing. You know, nothing to get excited over there. And going forward. So because he doesn't have the limitation on his head, I'm going to give his articulation, again, a 9.75. So we have a 10 and a 9.75. We're going to get into transformation. Just for fun, I'm going to do this guy. I'm not going to explain his transformation, though it's very simple. And he definitely got the kind of short end of the stick when it came to transformations for this mold, because his is so very simple. I will also pick up here to show where a Titan Master would go, because I want you to be able to see both of these guys in the other alt mode, or in their other alt mode. And this is Fastclash done. You would put a Titan Master in right there in the seat. This is a chest piece that folds up, but this is a chest piece that folds up, but of course he is a little race car dude, and you know, it's really him lying down with his arms out in front of him and his head turned around with the spoiler up. It's so very simple. So I'm going to just take him out of it for a second, though we will look at them in their alt modes to kind of round things out here. This guy, much like Wingspan, was really given the more interesting of the transformations for these clones. So this time we fold in the fists just like we did with Fastclash. We take the arms and we put them up over his head and we fold them in. Now, it would have been nice if there was a locking point here, but the joints are pretty solid, so I don't think you got to worry about them moving, which is good because you don't really want it to move. Take the head and turn it around so that the fin is now facing forward. The tail fin, I guess, of the plane is facing forward. We're splitting the legs right in at the hinge in the pelvis. We're going to take the wing and fold it out once and fold it out again. So now the wing is facing down. I'm going to try and show it over here, possibly. Fold it up once, fold it back, and all the way down. So that's how we have the wings at the moment. You're going to take the feet and put them in. You need to make sure that you straighten out the hip. And I know this because when I started to do it, I was making a mistake. There's a little tab right here on the red that goes into a little slot right here, kind of just below the knee. And you want those to line up and tab in. And over on this side, you rotate down at the hip again, and you want to line up the hole just below the knee with the tab that's on the red and peg it in. And now he looks like this. Okay, you bend down the nose piece and you don't flip it over, you bring it all the way up. And this red section right here will go in behind this white section. It fits very tightly. You will have to kind of push it a bit. You will definitely have to push it a little bit to get it in there. But in the end, here you go. This is what Cloudraker looks like. And he does have a little landing strut. And he looks like that. And he looks like that. So they look, you know, they're very different looking, obviously in this mode. You know, plain, and I've seen fan modes. A little difficult to show it here. I've seen fan modes that do attempt to put them together. You probably could. I don't think I will, because they weren't combiners before. I don't really feel a need to make them combiners. They weren't combiners before. I don't really feel a need to make them combiners now. But yeah, that's, you know, that's him with his actual clone. Here's the duo that comes together. Transformation, again, I would say it's a 10 for Cloudraker. Overall, between these two figures, the score got to be a 9.75. They are two fantastic little Legends figures. Not the easiest ones to get, unfortunately, but if you can see your way clear to getting them somehow, some way, I highly recommend you do, because they're great additions to really any collection lineup. Certainly great additions to fans of the clones and to fans of Legends class figures. Anyway, folks, that's it for me. Thanks for dropping by, giving me some of your valuable time. You know that I appreciate it. Let me know what you think of these guys, and I certainly look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.